Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gears Esports Pro League. I am Colin the Crow Clark, the man, the myth, the legend himself over there with an oh-so-gorgeous smile is the one and the only Jacob MVPR. We've already had our first matchup of the night. It was Fire and Ice versus Discipline, with Fire and Ice coming out up on top 3-0. Now we will move into our next matchup. This one could be a little bit spicier, a little bit better, a little bit hotter, a little more caliente to it, because it is Team Queso and the Pioneers. And the Pioneers have not looked like their dominant selves as of late.
They look like a shell of themselves. They look like a little pony instead of that great stallion we know them to be on the Pioneers. And Team Queso, if you don't watch out, they're definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with, because week after week, I feel like they're up in their firepower. Sleeafer definitely just had a top 5 play of the week. So this is definitely going to be a battle to watch out for here in a few moments.
Always something to keep an eye on are some of these players who are incredible at what they do. But let's take a look at the Team Queso roster first. They have been comprised of the one and the only Problems, as you spoke, Sleeafer, Cristalize, and now Chavii. What do you think is the best possible outcome and output from this team? What do you see their identity being?
Let me just think for a moment. If I can compare them to anything, I feel like they're a younger version of the Rebel Squad. I think in moments they look great. At moments they can battle with the best of them. And then in other moments, it's like, what are y'all doing out there? You guys even playing to win at some points? They got veteran leadership with Cristalize and Sleeafer. You have young guns and Chavii and Problems. And everybody here on this roster at one point or another has shown and proven why they're here in the Gears Pro League. But now they need to prove to us why they think they're probably the team to beat.
Well, they have got a tall task on their hands. They have gone up to the bar and they said, "Barman, I want the biggest drink you got and the spiciest meatball in the back room," because they are going up against a core 3 that are your reigning, defending, undisputed Gears Esports champions in Hndles, Acells, and Xysho. And with the departure of Precision, there is a new face to the squad, but not one that is brand new. It's been with him before. It is Bronny, who has rejoined up with 2 very good friends of his in Hndles and Acells. And of course, Xysho and him have played together in the past before. So this squad has had its up and downs, like a roller coaster, as I've said before, but they still have that championship mentality. They still have the best answer, as we have heard Hndles say before. Do they continue to show that comeback this week? Do they continue to show that they are rounding back into that form, Jacob?
See, to me, it's not about continuing the rounding back into that form, because you're never going to achieve that same form again. And I don't mean that as a disrespect. Whoa, hold on. Bring it back real quick. The only reason why I say that is because Precision is irreplaceable. I wouldn't say he has the accolades that comparison I'm about to bring out, but he's very, very similar to Mental. I'm going to go ahead and
are we the same person?
But he's just someone for your squad. If you lose him, you can't replace him. It's like losing a pair of Gucci shoes. You're not going to find that same pair again. You just got to go ahead and find yourself a new pair of shoes. You got to go ahead and break them in, though. That's the thing. And I think that's what the Pioneers are going through, that break-in period before they refine and recollect what could be a new stallion in this horse race.
Jacob, you had me until you started talking about Gucci shoes. As a father and a middle-aged white dude, all I've got are like the New Balances and those like Nike Air Monarchs, my man. And I green them up in the spring. I'll tell you that much. When I start doing the lawn, you best believe I turn them white shoes green, boy.
Just go ahead, come out to Vegas, bring the lady out to Vegas. We're going to go and get Colin spruced up. We're going to get him some Gucci shoes, maybe some Versace out there. Reflections is bringing out the Versace. Colin in Vegas. Can we get hashtag Colin in Vegas? I'll get him a setup in my own house. He will not skip a beat. There is zero excuses, Colin. This show has now been taken on the road.
Oh, goodness gracious, boys. We could be in some big trouble if I get on out to Vegas, because that truly is a Wild West of the day. Let's see our player to watch, though, because I think we got a pretty good one to keep an eye on. It is indeed Bronny from the Pioneers. And look at that, 21st, though, in overall KDA. But my man is first in Execution First Bloods. That means his squad has put him in a place to always be kind of the tip of the spear, to ensure that he is getting those first kills necessary, and that is a big thing for us to keep an eye on for Pioneers when they play Execution.
And I know you break things down on your personal stream, so shout out to Colin if you guys ever catch that. It's definitely a treat. But one of the plays you did break down before is that Bronny play a few weeks back, to where he wasn't only able to get kills, and I'm kind of going to lead that into the stats here, so make sure you guys take a mental picture of those stats. But he not only got those eliminations, but he bought them so much time. Not only time to get the rotations, but about 25-30 possible seconds in the hill. So when you look at those stats, he's first in the way he's affecting the first blood, but his KDA is below that 1.0. And the reason being is because he's such a dominant force. Whether he's getting the eliminations himself, he is at least pulling multiple players over towards him, popping up for sniper headshots, popping for torque bow sticks, lancer downs for easy cleanups. Bronny is being that defining force. That's why I say it's no negative setback saying this team will never be that same team again. That's just because they're trying to be a new and improved Kansas City Pioneers roster.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to find out where they're going to roll out a spawn on tonight with our picks and bans between the Pioneers and Team Queso. And as you take a look at this, Jacob, is there any map that immediately jumps out at you?
I mean, nothing immediately jumps out at you besides, I mean, the whole cycle kind of slaps me in the face. Not one map, and I just got the whole map full of cycle of aggressive strategies right here. District control. We know at first it might come down to a little bit lancering in the middle, drop shot control, but that initial 3v3 towards the top. Clocktower. I love the map because how much depth it has in terms of strategy, but more often than not, you know how aggressive it is. Vasgar, it's Old Faithful when it comes to aggression. And then those last two maps, they're becoming more and more aggressive each and every time we watch them. So before we know it, whether if it goes 3 maps or 5 maps, we can see an all-out war that can be over in a blink of an eye.
I actually really love that I see a couple of maps here that the Pioneers have picked that they have struggled on in recent weeks, that they might have caught a L on in recent weeks, no matter how good they have played at certain points. They need to clean up some mistakes, especially on that Vasgar. We saw them against Rise on Vasgar, and I was an idiot that said that they were going to win at 3-0, and then Rise, I mean, clean sweeps them, and I saw problems galore on Vasgar. So I'm happy to see that they're taking these reps against teams like a Queso, and I'm pretty sure when we see them play a team like Discipline or Fury 1, whoever it might be down at the bottom, Fire Nice, they'll probably take those opportunities to pick these same maps as well, which shows me that they're not just thinking about Pro League as kind of, you know, let's win, finish up at the top side, get the best seed going on in a major. They're looking at Pro League as it's an extra set of practices, an extra few rounds to get the good reps under their belt. And something else we got to get under our belt is our predictions. And if I had a big old cowboy belt buckle right now, my man, I'm going to start this one off easy, simple for you, quick, fast, and in a hurry. It would have a horse on it. Because there's 4 hosts over there on the Pioneers. Not famine, not pestilence, not death. Those are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. These are the 4 horsemen of the Pioneers. And they might just be as bad to the bone as they are.
I love it, Colin. I got my belt. I definitely got my belt. I'm going to go ahead and put my predictions above it right now because I got to agree with you. Colin, I keep saying it time and time again. Peanut butter and jelly, spaghetti and meatballs, Dom and Marcus. Kansas City Pioneers, they have looked soft recently, but I think this is a perfect opportunity to show that they are still the reigning, the defending, the undisputed Gears Esports champions, no matter if it's Precision or Bronny. If there's a will, there's a way. The Pioneers will come out on top.
The Pioneers, to me, I think the best metaphor while we wait for this chat to come on in, I'm pretty sure we're going to see all gold at the bottom. It's all going to be Pioneers across the board. We do get it. The Pioneers, to me, are going through this metaphor right now. They're like an egg, a carrot, or coffee beans in boiling water. You can either go in like the carrot and, you know, get softened up by that boiling water, have your circumstances change who you are. You could be like the egg and only get harder as you go in that water and have your circumstances change you. Or you could be like coffee beans. You get put into a bad circumstance, you get put in that boiling water like the Pioneers have had their struggles, and you just change your circumstances. You change that boiling water into coffee, baby, and you just start the morning off right with a hot cup of Java, and you make all these teams pay without you.
I mean, the only other man that I know that have turned one thing into another, and that's Jesus himself, water into wine. And if there's any comparison there, that's going to be a big positive confirmation for the Pioneers. They can do just that. Bronny, he's going to be the one we're starting off with, and he gets that down along with Acells, but Sleeafer, he gets first blood. Back-to-back, Bronny and Hndles will get shut down, but Acells goes big. 3 straight downs, but somehow it's Chavii who's going to be the last man standing.
Thank goodness for the Pioneers to win that 1v1 in the middle of the map, to get that drop shot into Xysho's hands, and I'm proud of Xysho. He's able to hold on to it. He's patient enough to know that they got to use it on the retake. Oh, goodness gracious. That was a blender, and they lost the drop shot. My God, he was patient, but you ain't got to be that patient. You ain't got to wait for the world to end, my brother. You got to throw that thing out.
Got to throw it out. You got to throw it over the top row like you're complaining in the Royal Rumble. And honestly, this is a great start for Team Queso. It goes... What was that? Problems going ahead and just putting Hndles in a blender. Acells gets shut down on the retake attempt towards the top side of the map as Bronny, he sets his size forward on towards this next hill as a complete shutout over the defending champions on hill number 1. 55-0. Team Queso is off to a hot start.
Sleeper standing over Acells right there, letting him bleed out, let him think about this. They're going to have the flank here across the bottom of the map. 3 players are going to push into the hill here. Multiple members at that lineup trying to get shots around the cubby. Bronny's going to go down, but Chavii will have killed Problems, and look at the downs coming through. That kill feed is all blue all day. They're going to need a big play, and they get it thanks to Acells off a respawn. And, of course, Hndles, the gruesome twosome, his duo, helping him clean up a couple of those kills there at the bottom side of those stairs, continuing to hold court over this bottom right-hand map. These corner hills are oh so hard to break back into.
This is a much-needed stop for Pioneers. Any momentum that this team that actually feeds off momentum's able to build, you want to go ahead and shut down any opportunities as early as possible. But the thing here is Bronny's positioning. That's what allowed them to get that drop shot out, try to rotate it around, but he left himself in. That Xysho unable to be the hero for Bronny as they continue to lose members on the side of the Pioneers. But Raul said that enough is enough. He gets that shut down and forces a rotation outward from the Pioneers, but they have to be careful. They have to watch out. Xysho has not used that drop shot yet, so he can easily pull that sucker out and make Team Queso regret him ever picking it up.
He was a little too patient last time. Let's see if he goes ahead and goes for the usage here. Maybe trying to get a single or a double. He's going to go for the double, but all he gets is damage. Little mistimed usage of the drop shot. Now that's 2 in and 2 out, and the Pioneers have not been able to get any kind of profit for it, really, but they are getting plenty of profits. Their stocks are only rising as long as they got those Nashes in hand, and they're willing to team fight like they are oh so famous for.
Pioneers continues to be on a roll. Chavii gets caught out of position trying to be sneaky. They're going to go ahead and try to bleed that one out. Everybody making that rotation. And this is where Team Queso, they have to give up this first early seconds here. If you keep getting caught on rotation, you're going to give a point after point. Before you know it, you're forced to give up the entirety of this hill. But finally, players are getting into position. They're going to go ahead and try to make that play towards the top half of the map with all the utility that they have. It has to be thrown to perfection. Chavii goes in first. Second one to back up. That's going to force it down onto Xysho. But Acells is quickly there to get that revive, but he can't be there twice. One time is enough, and he finally gets shut down. Team Queso, just like that, after the respawn, that few seconds that they said they needed, they used it to perfection.
And right there, I'm really curious why Cristalize did not get challenged at the middle of the map. He had a perfect flank to just kind of Lancer out the player at the window, which stops them from having that extra Lancer in the fight. That's one of those situations where if they get the call out, one player's down low, maybe challenge up on him, maybe give your teammates a helping hand by just rolling back early, but instead the Pioneers, they get shut down pretty quickly. They get a third drop shot now. This is the third attempt for the Pioneers with this drop shot. They need any kind of profit for it. You see Xysho holding it on his back right now. 3 or 4 players mounted up on the right-hand side of the map for Team Queso. First player in the line of the defense will be Xysho. He's going to throw out that shot to the top. Get the shock out. He's going to go down. Somebody's going to rotate in. There's the drop shot by Acells to finally get some payoff for those rockets from the pocket. Bronny.
That was the first evenly matched kill, 55-0, followed by a 3-51 scoreline instead of the Pioneers. This one, 30-28 off that hill number 3. So both teams finally trying to figure out here in the mid portions of the game, and rightfully so. I would love to see it a little bit earlier, but before the game gets out of hand for either team. So this next hill, hill number 4, early on, it goes over to the Pioneers' control, but the angles are there for Team Queso. They're getting that early damage. That's forcing Kansas City to give up some of these positioning, but a double flash from Hndles. He's able to get 2, but he's forced to back down off of that position, but he loses 2 teammates, Bronny and Xysho. Now they have to make up for it. Hndles, he's gonna have to back out of that fight. Acells, he gets shut down. That's gonna be a full squad wipe for Team Queso, and again, back-to-back hills that are being contested by both of these squads.
I mean, well job done by Team Queso. The way that they're keeping this thing very close, if not knotted up or themselves in the lead, is very impressive. District has been a thorn in the side of the Pioneers this split, and there's another kill for Problems. He is creating all kinds of situations. Now we're going to see in the middle of the map, Problems trying to get one more down with the L trigger. Up top right at the pergola, Bronny's trying to break in, maybe go for an early rotation, get in there quickly. He's going to get shut down, and now it looks like the Pioneers have to come through the bottom middle of the map. 2 players are mounted up on the right-hand side for Team Queso. Looks like Acells will have the Lancer out and be able to damage them up. Cristalize is going to get called out, but they need to find these kills in the middle of the map. I believe a Hndles just got flanked out.
Looking good. He's got a way to stay alive, depending on the drop shot. I think it went out, possibly going to be grabbable, trying to see if anybody's able to pick that one up, but he probably sacrificed it as well as Problems. He gets that second down, and yes, he does get rewarded by an earlier one drop shot, but he's not going to get that elimination towards the bottom half of the map. That's going to allow the Pioneers a few extra seconds to get back into this one, but Sleeafer with a flank, depending on how he plays his cards, he could be waiting for the perfect moment to strike, but Hndles, I think, sees him. He's just wasting so much time here, which is absolutely perfect for Team Queso to gain an even bigger lead.
You can see it looks like Sleeafer rotated all the way to the top side of the map. Problems finds another kill. Now he finds the down with the L trigger, and Sleeafer has the angle here on to absolutely splattering Hndles with that Lancer. They get the down. Xysho trying to stay alive, goes for the back A, and then the up A. Won't be able to get that as a down and a death. Pioneers struggling in this map. Number 1 down 40 points. Queso, all props to them as they are continuing to control this. Jacob, quick question for you. What has been more impressive? The fact that the fact that Queso has kept it so close without the drop shot? Is that it? Gotta be that?
100%. Team Queso overall. If anybody thought Team Queso would come out and have this much of a showing early on, you'd be a fool, especially if you thought them to take the series overall, as Kansas City continues to get shut out in that last hill. Almost there. I think they finally gained a few seconds, but if they didn't get that 1 second column, that was a complete shut. Actually, that was a shutout of the last hill. That time came into the new hill.
Oh my goodness gracious. Now we go over to the new hill. Problems in the middle of the map. He's gonna get wrapped up a little bit. He's gonna get marked out. They're gonna try to get these shots onto him. Xysho's trying to follow him through the bottom of the map as well. Problems will finally go down, and now you see Queso trying to have an answer back here. They've got to fight back into this bottom hill. See them lancering out momentarily, trying to find the right player to shoot upon. Cristalize is going to go to the top side of those stairwells. That's the neutralization spot. It's a little cheeky angle, but he's going to get pressed up on any time now. But it looks like Queso's causing confusion in the middle of the map here, causing players from the Pioneers to move back into position.
Hndles lost that 1v1 early on. He gets put out of position. Cristalize finally gets shut down by Xysho, but there's only so much you can do when the numbers are just too big. Now they have that drop shot. I'm putting a lot of eyes on the Chavii here. As they got 30 seconds left to go, you can either use this drop shot to continue to bolster points off of this hill, which you would have to use now, by the way, so if you use it later on for that same purpose, it is going to be a waste, or you can try to save it as long as possible. Try to catch an early rotation on, or early elimination on rotation to get even more points off this next hill. And that's a bigger picture, bigger brain play.
As that next hill will rotate to the top middle toward that cinema where it was in point number 1. Bronny's going to throw his flash, try to get back into this position here. Double bounce in, but the quick down comes through. And I mean, the Pioneers are all over the map. I mean, they are just everywhere. They sent Acells over there to try to handle the respawns from Team Queso, but Team Queso already has a player inside of the cinema, challenging up. Chavii has the drop shot. This should be an easy double kill with the active. Here it is. Boom. Bam!
Triple.
Uh-oh. He got Cristalize as well. My man. My man, look, that's one of those immediate, like, my bads. Didn't
What
mean
happened
it.
was we were just in the way, and I was.
You should have been so close to my rocket.
I was like the Human Torch out here. Anybody getting in my path is going to get burned. As Team Queso will be the first team over the 200-point mark as we reach the ending portions of this game. That's when we see a lot of the pressure begin to set in for a team that's in the position of the Pioneers. The Cells goes down for a quick moment as they're trying to gain these inches. Powder flashes being ready. Flashes for the offense being readied up as well. Chavii tries to take a shot. Perfectly late flash as he continues to watch his back over the top. That flash was used to catch Acells off guard. And oh my God, Chavii! He gets a nasty back A on Hndles over the top. Xysho goes down far out of the map. He's going to get bled dry. Bronny, he's going to get marked out. They're going to continue to try to stagger these deaths on the side of Team Queso. So for KCP, they need to figure out a way to find life.
Pioneers trying to find life right here. Bronny trying to get these shots on, trying to get some downs and kills. He's going to get both of them. Picks up some ammo there for his efforts over the top of that guard, and they're going to push back into this position here toward the bottom side of the map where they have multiple players from Team Queso to have to deal with. Shot over the top there. Chunk coming out, or a trade coming out. Never mind, it's a big trade. And you can see Sleeafer, he knows he's in the bandstand kind of alone. All he has to do is push up to make sure that he can get some damage out onto his opponents. And he's actually going to go through the middle of the map, give his teammates more options to move around the map, more varying positions in this situation.
Massive run for Team Queso here in Pioneers. They have to start picking it up, but Xysho goes down deep into the spawn. They're going to bleed him out. Nobody from the Pioneers are going to be able to back that one up as they concede the hill. They're trying to go ahead and turn onto the flank onto Chavii, who gets caught out, but his Cells overstays his welcome. That's not going to look good for the Pioneers. Bronny falls just as quick. One player left in Hndles trying to make miracles happen, but the numbers are too much. That's going to be Sleeafer putting that damage in towards the flank. They do get the quick spawn, but even they get spawned behind. Chavii quickly returning to the fight, put that Lancer fire out. They're trying to win this one quick and pinch to these players of the Pioneers, but a team kill. Xysho goes and gets the team kill. He gets taken out shortly after. Bronny cements himself towards the bottom as the Pioneers are desperately trying to, at the minimum, contest this hill.
Yeah, they got to keep it contested as long as they can. 35 seconds until the win for Team Queso. Lancer fire from the top side of this map. Getting a couple of downs, getting the extra cleanups does be the Pioneers. And now you see Sleeafer trying to get those L triggers in on those two players. Won't be able to get either one of those. They're going to go down, be dead. 40 seconds left in this one. Gets them to about 190. I don't know if you bleed it all the way out or if you try to play through the middle of the map. Cristalize is going to catch Hndles on a mistimed reload there, which will then put him in a position to continue to go for a retake.
Nice.
And now there's two players from Queso pulling up. And they get a kill. It's a 2v1 at the hill.
The Chavii I've been waiting to see out of Team Queso. He's the young gun. He's going to be the guy going in and getting a lot of the eliminations while Cristalize is there to back him up. And Chavii, again, he gets the help needed. Cristalize gets the elimination. Problem gets the drop shot. This is where I'm thinking Pioneers have to worry about what's next. They cannot sit there and bleed that hill dry, but at the same time, they're losing every team fight along the way. But finally, Xysho gets a double. Hndles gets one. That's going to be a big elimination onto Problem because now the drop shot is out of play. A big E that Team Queso could have used for that final nail in the coffin. So now they're going to have to go back to bare bones when it comes to gathering that information, figure out where they want to push through, if they even want to push onto this hill, because 22 seconds, that's all they need.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where I think Queso could actually just wait for the next drop shot. Just hang out in the middle, bar it up. Bronny's going to get it down, but no kill. And
no use groveling.
if you can bait those players out like that, Jacob, doesn't that just help you out on a retake? I mean, you're going to stagger out kills. Three, was that 2 or 3 flashes at Acells' feet? And he gets wrapped.
Oh, yeah.
Lighting up the fireworks right now on the side of Team Queso. 22 seconds. That's what Colin. Now we're in our 10-second countdown. It's going to be a happy new year for Team Queso. Only a few seconds left. Hndles, he has to be that tip of the spear. Bronny goes and tries to contest this hill. He's going to go and get one. That's going to be a big elimination onto Sleeafer. 2 seconds is all Team Queso needs as Bronny goes back to back. Chavii, he gets angled out. There's 22 seconds left. Team Queso, they only need 2, but Problems get shut down as well. Chavii, that's going to be a big fight. Chavii wins the fight against Bronny. 1 and 2. The count is out. Team Queso win map number 1.
What a monumental map number 1 win for Team Queso. They have done it thus far. They get a big win on District over the Pioneers. Problems, almost 20k damage with 18 kills and 14 assists. There's an absolutely scintillating, sensational fashion. Taking a look here. Sleeafer there at the bottom, but 19 assists. I mean, look at the way that they shared the wealth in that map, number one. The stats were absolutely spread perfect.
Yeah, they're just, right now, on this squad, they're just firing on all cylinders. Like I said, when you put a lot of pressure on the Cristalize and Sleeafer to be those main slayers, it's those inexperienced players. A lot of our elite teams, a lot of our elite players can kind of shrug them off. They could win those battles. But when Chavii and Problems are firing on cylinders, that alleviates the pressure, that allows Sleeafer and Cristalize to play more comfortably, more into their role. And you saw exactly what happened. And if you didn't, guess what? We got highlights for you to kind of relive that nightmare that the Kansas City Pioneers just went through.
And now the Pioneers, they've got to have an answer back. There's going to be a fight back sooner or later from them, because you go down 1-0 maps to Team Queso. Next, you're going into Clocktower, which we have seen the Pioneers struggle on before as well. I mean, back-to-back maps where the Pioneers have got to start finding some answers. I mean, it looks like they are opening up a book in a language they ain't never even heard of and trying to read that thing.
And I think that's... I know they brought Xysho in to help be an IGL, but is that a lot on the loss of precision? Or do you think they're just in a slump? We saw how great they were to start the season off. It was like they didn't skip a beat. Was that the honeymoon phase?
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give it to you straight. And I said this in week 1, and I got laughed at for it because I made the same comparison. I think precision. I said in week 1 that if precision had stuck around, we would talk about him and Mental in the same sentence at some point. That's how much he meant to this team because of the plays that he could pull off, the things that he could do, which opened up a ton of opportunities for the other players. What I think they have lost is not only precision opening up so many lanes across the map for Acells, for Hndles, for Xysho, but we don't see them team firing as much as they used to. They're making silly little mistakes where everybody's taking 1Vs. Everybody's trying to get these hip fire shots to come through for them, or trying to hit L triggers just to add some damage on somebody that doesn't really matter to the fight. Nobody on God's green earth was better at making people play, or better at making people pay for coming into the CQC than the Pioneers. That 4-man roster was perfect chemistry-wise in the CQC. I don't see it here. Yeah, Bronny's volatile. Bronny can be dynamite at any given time or day, but whenever it comes to those CQC battles, those retakes from teams on control, Acells looking here, and Hndles looking here, and somebody else is here, and Xysho's fighting him up here, and it used to just be bam, you dead, bam, you dead, bam, you dead, bam, you dead. They just moved as it was just a unified force every single time. So not only is it the loss of precision, but they just don't have the chemistry right now that they used to have. It's a two-headed spear, and it is crippling them right now.
Because I'm going to be that guy, Colin. I'm going to continue to play into the storyline that we had at the very start of the season when precision was actually still on this roster. When it came to major events, when it came to major money on the line, to start the season off, the Kansas City Pioneers were months without having a loss, and they have continued that streak even with Bronny, because you got to take into effect, E-Days have changed their format. It is no longer money on the line for those regular qualification style weeks. So even though they did not win E-Days, they did not lose that major tournament at the end, the E-Days finals. Again, with Pro League, there's no money on the line for each and every one of these matches. This is just the regular season. So they have lost those matches, but they still haven't lost a major tournament in Gears of War just yet, even with Bronny. So I'm going to continue to play in that storyline, and I just hope Bronny can kind of shrug off even things that I'm saying, things that you're saying. Turn off ESPN at the night, because at the end of the day, these are just words. We're just calling out what we see in front of us, and Bronny can change the story in a minute, and I want to see him do just that.
Look, Jacob, I'm not trying to be harsh on the guy. I mean, these guys know how much I love him. Hndles and Acells, they know, and Xysho now. I mean, they know how much I truly care for them as human beings. I would want to check up on them like they were cousins of mine. I want to know they're doing well.
Okay.
But if you're telling me that without money on the line, they're not going to play the way that they will with money on the line, that worries me more than just not having the same chemistry and losing precision, because that changes the genetic makeup of who these guys are.
I don't think it's so much not playing the same, because at the end of the day, scrims are where you get your practice in, Colin. But it could be them trying things, stretching their limits, and trying to really come back from scenarios. Maybe they could be that. But hey, I'm just trying to see something. I'm just trying to fit the narrative and the scenario, because I do agree with you to an extent. I 100% agree with you.
I would prefer always see that Pioneers team that didn't care if it was no money or all the money. They wanted to beat you senseless. Are they going to do it here on Clocktower? Are they going to go for the executions? They going to beat somebody senseless? That's going to be a big play for me, a big ass, because we've seen before, and I don't know how they're going to have these spawns necessarily for Team Queso, but I've seen Sleeafer create some havoc in the front spawn for some teams, but now they got a guy in Chavii that can take that position.
I'm putting some pressure on, but a 4 up top from both of these teams. Bronny vanishes in the blink of an eye. His problems gets first blood, but Chavii, he gets Lancered down, trying to go for that sniper towards the back lane. Unable to get revived by Sleeafer, but Flash Sleeafer wants to get that sniper in towards his hands. He quickly goes down. There goes the revive from Problems. They're going to go ahead and chain those together, and they're going to be able to survive and live to tell the tale. Sniper in hand. He connects with the shot onto Xysho, but it's Cristalize is on the line by himself. Sleeafer connects back-to-back shots. The second one's a headshot, and the third. Kiefer will not miss here, and he does it again. Sleeafer makes the play in round number 1.
Hey, yo, Sleeper, did you see Demon get a top play of the week? And you said, I can do it. I can do that too. Don't worry. I got you. Multiple headshots, long shot, no problem. I ain't worried about it. I do like the fact that my man squared up on the temple. He squared up on the temple of that down player. Did you see that? How we took like a moment to make sure it was a headshot?
Exactly. Somebody might have said ace it down. I don't care. You get the headshot on a down that quick. Xysho this time around trying to make that same play. He's going to get out with Sniper, but this time he makes the same play on the Problems. Chavii only takes down Hndles. The Sniper will survive. Bronny gets one. He gets the down as well. Xysho returns with a big play of his own. And this one is already starting off with back-to-back doozy of rounds, Colin.
Let's see what he can do here. Chavii's going to get that double bounce in. He's going to pressure. I love the fact that Chavii, those are the little things I'm talking about. Did you see how Chavii, as he bounced around, he saw that his teammate was getting chunked, and he knew his next teammate was going to be pressing in? I know the Pioneers win that round, but that's the kind of team fire that you need. Those are the kind of things you have to become these championship caliber teams. That's a whole ton of flashes being thrown out. Bronny was trying to bait Problems into the CQC fight. Sleeper will pick up the long shot. There's the down on the Chavii and the quick cleanup. Problems, though, has moved across to the back pillar, bouncing around, staying alive as long as he can. He's going to get cleaned up by Acells. Body shot miss. Cristalize trades out with 1. Now a second in his eyesight. Bronny gets missed by the long shot yet again, and Cristalize is full red, but I mean, I like that play call. He said, all right, let me put that long shot away. Let me secure some of these kills.
After the dust was settled, you saw Sleeper. He will not stop trying to go for that sniper. And that's exactly what happened. They tunnel vision, trying to get that down. Problems. I know he was spotted out. Whether he was called out or not, that's on the Pioneers, as he was able to kind of push through that backline and get 2 to save the day, because I do believe it might have been Pioneers who got first blood.
Yeah, Pioneers, I believe, got the first cleanup after that down on the Chavii. Now we're going to see them throw the smokes at that long shot, try to get the double players into the area to pick it up. Nobody has been able to get it yet. They've pushed them both back to back pillar. This will settle down yet again into a secondary retake, as Xysho will now pick it up. And Xysho,
oh my God,
immediately hits the headshot on that player as they try to rotate from pillar to post. Now let's see what they can do in this next situation. Xysho's been marked out, but they get a couple of marks. Xysho's making sure there's no peek. It misses the player up bang around the corner. And as they play into this back pillar, the Pioneers are trying to completely cross them out. One more player alive. It's Cristalize. He's full red, but he's up against Xysho and Hndles. Hndles playing to the other side of that planter, and he can tag him up a little bit, but Xysho's trying to play out, making sure that he comes around the opposite. He gets easily hit on by that long shot, but no need. Nothing for that. That's going to be a back egg.
Yeah, I can't believe it just plays after that. Xysho. I'm still stuck on that first headshot on the Chavii. That man is just so precise, like Hawkeye out here with the precise aim. Got to keep it out of hands. Him and Sleeafer, you know they're going to play for those power weapons, those precision weapons when it comes to the sniper and the end bar. And that's live or die on Clocktower, but it opens up for that flex play potential. If they don't like what they see when it comes to grabbing the sniper, they can try to push towards that back pillar, but Chavii goes down very, very early. Yet again, chain revives are there. Problems trying to make a play like he did, similar, but they have finally caught on. Pioneers are going to stop that initial push, but they lose a couple members in the fray, which is going to allow for Sleeafer to get that sniper out alive, but they're going to have to continue this route down to man, but not no more. Sleeafer evens up the score.
Now we'll see Sleeafer with a long shot, trying to make sure he doesn't get baited out. There's a little L trigger bouncing around. Hndles doesn't even get a shot put onto him. Sleeafer not willing to waste any ammo here, but he does have 7 shots to be able to take that next one. Tagged up just a little bit from the Lancer fire. Moves back over to the other side. I'm unsure if they had a chance to rotate down for fragmentation grenades, as the simple fact is that I believe they don't know if Hndles has left stairwell. They haven't been able to see him time in and time out, but they're staying in this 2v2 situation. And I like that from Hndles, having the fully cooked Lancer and fully revved up snub to be able to put out damage for Acells if either player decides to push against him. What they've got to be worried about is Sleeafer trying to get the body shot now. Multiple players in the area, tries to hit that, I would say, elbow shot, trying to take the arm completely out of the socket, but misses that one again. Sleeafer, a little double bounce in. Hndles trying to get a mark. Go ahead.
Sleeafer has to do exactly what Acells is doing here, but Acells has the positioning because of the dip in the stairs to be able to take that extra angle. But Sleeafer has to threaten with a shot, which is going to force that cross to come out. Otherwise, they're going to continue to target that back line because they would be fools to target Sleeafer the way he's going off with the sniper right now. But regardless, in 10 seconds, it's going to be the Pioneers who have to make the play. Hndles go ahead and teases one, forces the shot out. Takes a bit of damage with the shotgun shot. They're going to jockey for position onto the back pillar. Flank is going to come in, but Hndles makes the stop. Acells makes the 1v1 play on the Chavii. A great clutch for the Pioneers to go up 1, 3-2 over Team Queso.
I'm going to be honest with you. If I was in a 2v2 and it turns into a 1v1 on both sides of the map and it's Hndles and Acells, brother, I'm going to have to chalk that one. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave me alone on that one. I ain't got no answer for what's about to happen to me. I'm just saying, how we going into round 6, baby? How we doing round 6 now? All right, we're in 1v1s against Hndles and Acells.
Colin, get a grip.
I ain't
Get a grip on yourself, Colin. We can do it. That's what Team Queso is saying. We can do it. But Xysho goes in. We can do it too. He gets that sniper out alive. This time around, thankful to the smoke. Because landed another one, but I spoke too soon. Connects with Cristalize, only going to get the down. Everybody's going to get back up. A player of Team Queso was able to go down low. That Sleeafer trying to beat the team to the punch to get those frag grenades out, but somebody's going to go down low. They're going to try to lock him in there, and with the sniper looking over the top, I do believe they might have the damage, but frag grenade going out. They're going to see where it's going to go before they move around.
I'm not gonna lie to you, as fat as I am, I still can't get a grip in them situations, man, from Acells and Hndles. I can't do it. I'm a big boy and I can't do it. Big body shot on a Sleeafer. We'll have him down under 40%. The second body shot gets the down. They're gonna force somebody to make a move here. Somebody has to go in for a revive if they want him to come back. But as soon as they stand up, I'm pretty sure Xysho is going to clap his head off. Bing, bong, baby! Hit him with another one.
Do it again.
Do it again.
They can't
do it again.
I'm waiting for it. Pioneers are waiting for it too. They're just waiting for an opportunity to present itself. They're gonna use the cells to go down low, take that extra angle out wide. Anybody threatens them down low, they just open themselves for that risky sniper play. Crystallize gets spotted out. Easy angle for Xysho. Another body shot on the Problems. This is where Team Queso will have no choice but to go. They're going to push towards that back pillar. Chavii's going to be the first one down. Another body shot connecting on the Problems, leading to a down and basically a 4v1. Crystallize gets put into a blender and Colin says it right. You know exactly at this point. Nobody should be surprised at this by now. If anybody's surprised, he may not have been around. He might be doing it.
Oh my God. Like, is it the light switch went on? Somebody turn the lights back on this Pioneers team right now. Playing a little bit different than it did in map 1. Playing a little bit different. 3 rounds in a row. Pioneers up 4-2. take a look here. Double body shot. Hey, bang. Down. All right, you want to stand up? Go ahead, stand up. Bam! Got you now.
Just gotta let him like.
Hey, you want to get body shotted? Go ahead. Bam! Body shot. God almighty, I love it.
Gonna miss.
Put our
He's
training
not gonna miss. It's harder for him to miss than it is to hit the shot.
I mean, when you're that good, it probably is harder. For me, I could have infinite ammo and a friggin' rapid fire long shot, and I'd probably still miss every shot I took. I'll tell you that much. Hndles got really over aggressive. He gets Chavii, but he gets taken down. Xysho gets the down there onto the next player. Sleeper Problems goes down. They're trying to get these team revives off. A lot of damage being put out. If they can get a third down and out, that'll be very impressive. You see Xysho continuing to answer back with fire. There's the third down and out I was talking about. There is the third down and out. Xysho picks the long shot. Cristalize with a down. Quick revive comes through. One player left alive is Cristalize. This is down, and they're going to clean him up. Now it's 3v1. Sleeper's just playing the back pillar as best he can. Double bounce from Xysho. Goes for the reaction shot. Third down and out from Bronny. Comes through. Now 1 round away.
I could be wrong, Colin, because I'm taking this at face value. We don't have the communications. We don't have exactly where their smoke and their utility placement is going down, but it looks like Team Queso is running the exact same strat, and Chavii is either getting downed or first blooded almost every single one of those rounds for the Pioneers come back, take that 5-2 lead. So I'm not only looking at all of Team Queso, but Chavii needs to figure out a way to stay alive. But both teams switched up their strategy. Cristalize going down low. Big shot fired out by Acells, and he's going to chase him down like Jaws. He's got that blood in the water, and he's going to take a bite.
Let's see what Xysho does. He's continuing to back up. I think Xysho actually helped kill his own teammate there, but it did not matter, ladies and gentlemen, in a perfect round 8. Acells, he pulls the pin on that grenade with that first kill after the double up A, and then everybody else does their job, but your MVP, without a doubt, is Xysho with a gang of beautiful long shots, putting on the backpack, saying, come on, boys, we're going to a map 3. We got to take a lead. We're going to find out who does it right after this.
After a strong map number 1, Team Queso set the pace, but a big answer back from the Kansas City Pioneers in that map number 2, off the back of Xysho, who led them to victory round after round. And now we have a knotted up series at 1 apiece. Will Team Queso have what it takes to continue on the momentum that they've shown to the start? With the Pioneers woken up for their slumber, we have a game on our hands. Coming into map number 3, Escalation. Colin, what do you think here?
Escalation is going to be a very interesting out for Team Queso, because while all these players have played Escalation into the ground, they understand it. They know all the little ins and outs. There's no way you can really trick them. I do not believe, if you were to add up all the grand finals that have been played by players on the side Queso, that they would add up to the same amount as the players on the side of the Pioneers, because I'm pretty sure without Sleeafer, it's like 1. And I don't even think it's 1, because I don't think Cristalize has ever been there. I think Sleeper's the only person. So I think just the sheer experience in pressure situations, you have to favor the Pioneers here, right?
I feel like you have to. 100% you have to. But I think we're in a stage and an era to where you can catch fire in the blink of an eye. We've seen it from early starts of Team Queso. We see it from Fury 1, but I think it's not an early start anymore. This is map number 3, and I think that's where a lot of the pressure. Team Queso, if they have repeat performances, if they're able to kind of continue in the slaying power with Chavii and Problems, the young guns, everybody kind of playing their role, we can see a major upset. But from a lot of these young teams, especially the young teams that hail from the Latin American region, they get down on themselves so quick after such a small loss that should be meaningless in a long series. So to me, I always question the mental state of some of these rosters that might not have the familiarity in which you're talking about, that championship, that grand final, heck, even a winner's finals familiarity.
That's one of the things that I think has been underrated with what Sleeafer has been able to take to all these teams post his departure from that Ghost Gaming and the Knights team that we've seen, where once Sleeafer left, he bounced around the scene, but it seemed like every team he went to, he almost kind of became like a toady. He brought such a level of experience and veteran leadership and a cool, calm head that he usually brought a lot of players kind of out of the trenches and made them better for just being around him. And I think that's going to be something they have to lean on here. Once again, when you got a player like Chavii, you got to put him up in the front spawn. You got to give him the tip of the spear position. But when you've got, players like Cristalize and Sleeafer, you said it in our first map, when problems in Chavii can start slaying out, and then Sleeafer and Cristalize can kind of fall back into that natural position that they've taken for so long in Gears, where it's a little bit of support, a little bit of slaying, a little bit of flanking, a little bit, it's all those secondary roles, the dirty work that those guys have had to put in for so many years. That's when this team is at its absolute scariest. Coming into this map, after what just happened, they're going to need somebody like Sleeafer to probably be like, don't get it twisted. Don't get upset at yourself. Don't get over aggressive, because that's what they're planning on. They are going to bait and play on the fact that they think they're going to have upset us and tilted us a little bit and try to take advantage of that. Don't fall for it.
Yeah, and we've seen it in our first matchup where Discipline, they did not change up any of those weapon placements on that escalation when that lead was slowly but surely falling right before their very eyes. So if Team Queso was in that same situation, I don't necessarily want to see them be the first team to put that weapon down, because they are putting up a good fight. But if they do put themselves into a hole, I don't think they're going to be scared to put that sniper down towards the tank fight, maybe put an M-bar down towards the northern portion of the map. But I feel like it is going to come down regardless in this series here for Team Queso. And for the Pioneers, I feel like they just need to continue to focus on their game. They have faltered in a few series, specifically against that Rise squad in that 3-0 fashion. But I think they're playing a lot of these same matchups. What you spoke about is to play themselves out of that rut, to go ahead and find new angles, find new tricks, and to go ahead and build off of that foundation in which they already have.
I just thought about this. If I remember correctly, the last time I saw Queso on training grounds, I think Queso put down a Marxa, and we got to see Sleeafer use the Marxa, and he got like 4 or 5 headshot with it. That could be a secondary strategy.
Good.
Because especially if you get around where somebody puts down the long shot under the overlook to try to create a different fight, like if the Pioneers do that, instead of you just building up your secondary, change the fight entirely by slapping down the marks at the same time. Force them back into a kind of a split team fight or a decisive fight where they're going to push for one and you get the other. And then you can kind of take your position on the back of the U at the top of the overlook or whatever and try to angle out anybody that comes secondarily out of that first fight. I think there's a ton of options for both of these teams to kind of consider coming into this map. If I'm the Pioneers, I'm trying to live and die by the same teamwork I had in map 2. I mean, that was the Pioneers that you should be scared of. That is a complete 180 from what we saw in map 1.
It definitely is more of a comfortable roster who does get aggressive. They have their game plan set in stone, and they're following through, especially with Xysho being that leader that they know he can be. And I do like that strategy, especially if Team Queso can get on a roll. But coming into this one, it is going to be Vasgar, a very, very quick, a very, very aggressive style matchup to where if the Pioneers can keep that same heat that you're talking about, we can have a quick and early start where Team Queso, where I question the mental game, they continue to doubt themselves. So I think the biggest key to victory for this squad of Team Queso, before I would say, is build around the power weapons, build around Sleeafer. But with Chavii and Problems playing well, it's getting an early start. Fighting fire with fire against this Pioneer squad.
Well, here we come in around number 1. Acells will be pushing toward the helicopter. He's going to be meeting 3 different players. He's actually going to be full flying at one. Trades out with him and forces a death out. Now it's a 2v2 with a 1v1 on the opposite side. Bronny versus Sleeafer here at the tank fight. Sleeafer trying to rotate to the backside of the tank. Full red. Both players very much hurt. Neither player going down just yet. Bronny is rotated into the B hill. Cristalize will have an early flank here, and it looks like the Pioneers are going to try to take an advantage on the opposite side of the map, but Bronny's won one fight. Bronny won a second one immediately. We left the fight, but Bronny ended up winning a 2v1 to win the B hill, and now the Pioneers trying to collapse here on this A hill to win round 1 in triple cap domination fashion.
That why he was the player to watch?
Without a doubt.
That why he was the player to watch? I didn't think he was going to go back-to-back either. He had some damage on him. The opponent could have taken that shot to continue that damage, but Bronny, a dominant force onto this KCP squad. He heard that hot fire you were spitting there before that match. He said, Colin, guess what? We're going to do exactly what you want us to do. We're going to continue to build that momentum. We're going to continue to go ahead and put that hurting on a Team Queso.
Xysho, I mean, just a beautiful little flank out of him up the middle stairs, able to secure that final down in the meat shield to force that player out of the arrivals. This is what teams need to be afraid of. When the Pioneers can settle up a couple of kills and fight as a singular unit. And I mean, of course, if Bronny's getting double kills, forget about it, all right? Call me Tony Soprano, forget about it, all right? That thing is going to slap everybody and anybody that gets in their way, and Bronny is not going to slow down. He's going to take the 1v1 here at B. He's going to have some help over the top from Xysho, as a matter of fact. They're going to leave the other two, Hndles and Acells, in a 2v3 situation, and Xysho's close enough that he might be able to rotate back. Flash bounces off of Hndles. Little misthrown flash out of Acells. They're going to have to try to find a way to get a down or a kill here.
Tight, asshole.
Xysho almost rotating perfectly in time, especially based off of that call-out, but they knew the key to that fight was to continue to get aggressive on the top. Don't allow Xysho to become a factor, but Sleeafer, unlike last round, wins a big battle against Bronny, so it could be them going for that triple cap domination. There's going to be no time left to waste for the Pioneers. Xysho goes down for a quick second. Acells gets the retouch onto the hill and gets it down all at the same time. It's going to be Team Queso who's trying to stay alive as Problem goes down. Cristalize will fall. Chavii stuck between a rock and a hard place, but he gets put in that blender anyway, as Team Queso did so many great things off of that initial, just to fall short here in the mid game.
Now Sleeafer with another knotted up 1v2 situation. Is he have to worry about getting angled out? Hndles will get that down. They're going to bounce around. Hndles is going to go into that hill for the B hill. Go for the possible 2-to-1 hill advantage. They leave the C hill capped, and I'm actually so in love with that call because it just forces players around their own home hill. You can't really go for the cap as you're getting tagged up from across the map on that cubby. And if you don't have your own home, you're not getting any points, which is going to allow them to continuously build up a point lead in this situation. Hndles is going to mount up against Sleeafer. Sleeafer full red's not going to go down just yet. Hndles with the baited shot in the back A gets that kill on the Sleeafer with a headshot. Now Hndles is rotating around the map, trying to go for a flank, but he's going to back off indeed. It looks like Team Queso is going to go for the 3v3 push here at the arrivals side of the spawn. All three players at the arrivals as well. Nobody's going on the flank. They're going to push up a small set of stairs.
That's not a good look. They're just raining fire down with that Lancer, finally putting out the shotguns when they know the revives have to come through. Sleeafer, second time is definitely the charm as he takes out that fight against Hndles, but I'm not sure he can really stay and capture this hill. He has to go ahead and distract these players towards the backside, but at the same time, Colin, he has to wait for Hndles to spawn back up. They know exactly where Sleeafer is going to rotate from. Hndles, you better get your man, while the team is going to try to defend as a defensive effort towards the top half of the map, but Cristalize making a slow rotation, taking himself out of position. That might be the mistake to cost him.
Sleeafer has died, and that's going to be a free run over to B for Hndles here. He's going to get challenged up by Cristalize, but could very well be too little too late, as I think Hndles knows I'm going to get this decap and force Cristalize into a fight here. I'm going to force him into my fight. Big second shot, doesn't get the down, but there's the back A yet again. I thought Hndles was going to get on the second one, but I mean, that's back-to-back times in that map. Somebody has challenged him at B. He's baited out a shot just to get that back A into perfection on him. I mean, that is a dangerous move for him.
Scary there, but back-to-back rounds, you see Sleeafer fighting those individual battles. First, it was against Bronny. Second, it was against Hndles. Both of those players doing pretty well against Sleeafer in those 1v1 scenarios, forcing those outward plays, but it was Cristalize. I felt like he put himself so far out of the rotation with not enough time left on the clock that he just put himself or his team into a 3v4 situation. Hopefully they can kind of turn this one around. Back-to-back rounds for the Pioneers, and I think they've won those in a convincing fashion.
Well, here we go with another round from the opposite side of the spawn, opposite of arrivals. Acells goes to the same play where he tries to mad dash at those stairwell, get at least one kill to trade out. Sleeafer, he's going to lose here at the B hill. And I think the Pioneers are going to have to just really assess the situation. Understand that they're probably going to lose their home hill in just a moment. Wait for the respawn to come out, but as long as they have the B hill, they have a chance for a retake and a 2-to-1 hill advantage. Flashes are coming out. Chavii holding this cubby corner here behind this cover, continuing to put out damage. Snub or Lancer, doesn't matter to him. There's another couple of kills coming through, and Team Queso should have an opening here to go across the map, but Bronny has won another 1v. He might actually slip over to A, but I think he's going to back up. Oh, B's getting decap Bronny. B's getting decap Bronny. B's getting decap Bronny. There we go. There we go. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Sleeafer was like, I may have lost the battle, but I will win the war. There for that moment as Bronny backtrack. And honestly, I think they're going to look to kind of take advantage. Once they see Sleeafer in that 1v1 scenario, until he stops them and invokes fear, that is going to be the play on the other side of the map. But you see the effects, that cross over the top, making it that much easier for the Pioneers to retake their home hill. Sleeafer figuring out a way to stay alive, winning that exchange against Bronny. They might have lost their home hill for a second, but they're going to be able to stay alive with that neutral to buy his team some time. So Chavii, he's getting a little over aggressive by himself, but Pioneers don't take advantage, so good for them.
Obviously problems, having to worry about throwing the perfect flash over that L cover. Hndles with a double bounce. He's trying to get that down, or at least to clean up. Acells pushes in. Now Hndles, he's going to get one down. Here comes, I believe, Xysho into the fight. Xysho trying to roll up to help his teammate out, but that's 3 straight down and dead, and Bronny's won a 1v1 again. B-Hill getting decapped, possibly retaken. Pioneers could very well come away with a 3-0 lead coming into the end of the first half. What an extraordinary turnaround for the Pioneers in the last 30 to 40 seconds of that map.
I gotta ask you a question here.
Yes, sir.
You changed the matchup, or is Sleeafer still going down there? Come on, coach. I need to know.
I change it.
I like it, though. What do you put down there, though? Sleeafer has most of the kills, even though he's not winning the individual battles.
I put Chavii down there. Just put Chavii in a 1v and tell him that his job is just not die.
You see what Ribs is trying to tell us, though?
Yeah, that Xysho has no deaths and 10 assists.
10,000 damage, doing absolutely everything.
I mean,
for the team.
I mean, what are you supposed to do, man?
Sniper's down. Ooh, finally we're seeing the sniper go out. Not out by Team Queso, though. Does that scare you a little bit?
No, because that's just I was gonna say that's just such a that would have been a Pioneers move anyway. Like, nah, we just want to fight you. Oh my god, that is a lot of Lancer damage. Yo, that is such a classic Gears body block, by the way. Did you see that? The second player that came in for the revive just stood there, just shoot me.
I'll take it for you, man. Like, everybody just died. That's how much love that. Oh, that's how much trust they have in someone like Acells to get that sniper out alive. They may have given up a few seconds. They may have given up that neutral hill, but that's just because they have a bigger plan set in mind. They're going to allow Acells to rotate on the other side of the map, take this 3v2 advantage, slowly but surely gain these heals under their control, and then depending on how these fights settle down, oh my god.
Enemy visual confirmed.
That's a big headshot. That's a big headshot. Hey, look, I told him not to die. He didn't follow the plan. It's not my fault. He can't listen. Yo, give him a third, Acells. Give him one more.
Oh, what was that?
Questionable. Questionable. That's what that was questionable.
You call it doctor. That was sick.
My man's. My man's. Somebody get on the phone quick, fast and hard. That got me messed up now. That has got me messed up right now. Let's take a look here at what Acells could do up top. Trying to overlook the arrival spawn as they have the... Hey, yo, Acells, my man. Look, I'm just trying to talk about what you might be able to see. Hey, you just want to keep taking people's heads off out here, all right?
Target my mark.
I'll be in the 1v. You got the damage lead. Wasn't a 1v though. Don't count. Shut down on the other side of the map. Already a player down as we jump into this battle from problems. Hndles gonna take one out, baits the other one, and puts the entire Team Queso into the melting pot. I smell macaroni and cheese cooking up.
All right, my man, I'm gonna give you something, all right? If you go out in the back of the farm, I got 34 cows. I got one bull. I got one bull. In this matchup, Pioneers have decided to start being that bull. They don't want to just be another cow out there grazing. They want to be that one bull that takes care of everybody's business. All right? And if you lock up with a bull, you damn sure gonna get the horns. And if you can't handle the horns, my man, you got to get out the farmland. Them boys are on a tear, and they are showcasing a form and a situation that should be scary for the rest of the league, because it was like they just flipped a switch. It was like somebody turned on the lights, And now they are just putting Team Queso to the bricks. Flash grenades out by both squads. Here comes Cristalize, trying to rotate around. A little roadie strafe out, bouncing back and forth, comes away with 1 kill. Trying to bounce up onto the second now. He's tagged up, hits another big body shot there. 2 more players for the Pioneers in the area, but it's a 3v2. Another flash comes out, trying to hold down the back of the tank. Hndles gets 1, Bronny gets another. Cristalize will get the down onto Bronny. It's Hndles versus Bronny, but here comes the help. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I was Cristalized, I'd have been screaming right there. If I'd have known it was a 1v1 versus, I'd be like, please help me! You gonna kill me!
That's literally what you sound like in ranked, Colin. I know that for a fact, but instead of going for the decap, instead of going for the Mr. Krabs, Chavii played the team game. He went for the flank to solidify that elimination. Rightfully so. Cristalize picks up the sniper, misses the first shot, but returns to the scene to go ahead and wig that second player. Him staying alive is crucial for Team Queso. As Sleeafer wins a big 1v1 on the other side of the map for Hndles to keep 2 hills underneath their control. Chavii got that second one uncontested off of that initial, and the headshot will reign supreme. Cristalize is beginning to heat up.
Now we see Cristalize trying to push over to the D hills. Xysho's gonna get tagged up there with a flash grenade, go down. Now you see Bronny coming off of respawn here. They're trying to just challenge up to try to ensure that there's no triple cap domination. Problems. Gets the first kill onto Bronny. Here comes the push up from 2 more members from the Pioneers. But the way they're able to play around that, plus with the shot grenade down as they have to run through, this will be a Queso round. It is the first round on the board for Queso in map number 3. They have a good answer here in 1 minute and 49 seconds.
Great answer there for that round, but even with a lag out, how long can you kind of keep up that pressure? Especially when you're down 4-0 from Team Queso, you're gonna need a Herculean effort to be able to bounce back. So even though this is a lag out and some people might look at it as a moment to where Team Queso might lose their fire, like I said, I'm a half glass full type of guy. They might be using this moment to kind of readjust, go ahead and figure out what was going wrong in those 4 rounds, figure out what went right for them in that last round, and try to mix it all together into a pot.
Now we see them covering over. Little Lancer placed down. Boltok shock on the other side, so Retro shock on 1. Looks like the Pioneers are ahead right now. We are going to indeed have a game pause. Just a little hangout time for everybody. Just to be able to take a moment and think, hey, my man Bronny hitting us with the emotes. He's like, don't get the camera on me. You see him shake the head for just a moment? He said, don't put that on me. Oh, he's getting close to that Hollow Rager. There you go. Go on, get on that Hollow Rager skin. Also, this is the Desert Swarm sniper skin.
I forget who was it on Saturday, the Xbox Women's Championship that had that legendary skin, because I've never seen anybody of these people on Pro League with either one of those skins. I know you know exactly which one for top 100 or whatever it was.
Are you talking about Acells right there? Are you talking about Acells right there with a Funky Bunch Nasher? Oh, Moxie had the top 100. Yeah.
I've never seen any of these players have. I wonder if any of these players even have that.
I know at least one pro player does. I think Avexy's had it. I know Summons had it for Free For All when they had it as the Free For All award. I know Summons had it for that. I think Raver also has it. Hey, yo, my man, yo, hey, Chavii, come on now, man. That's just taking advantage. That's just taking advantage of me.
How many people have cashed in recently? Because I think me and your friends
nobody
casted casted a few of those.
Only person in history outside of Kenny that, by the way, Kenny forgave some of my debt to him. Rocky's the only person in history. No, TJ did. TJ and Rocky, only 2 pro players that have ever cashed in on it.
Okay.
I mean, but that's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, if you know you getting a free 5 spot, come on, man.
You're in my line of fire, dear.
I love the free. I'm about to start collecting. Let me get half at least if these people don't collect. What's the time limit? If I cast it, I should be able to collect it if they don't collect it. Either way, hopefully Kansas City Pioneers are still collecting on that energy, which led them to this point, because we're gonna get the stalemate in this round as we get back to normal. Hopefully, like I said, as we started, technical pause, that not Fire and Ice, but the roster of Team Queso are kind of able to fix a lot of those mistakes. They really got shut out 4 straight rounds before they showed any life. They're gonna need something big here to start us off.
Well, let's see
I
what they
don't know
can
what
do
it
here.
is, though.
They're going to have to get another couple of kills from a guy like Cristalize. All right, Cristalize going to have to get that long shot and take care of business over there. We're going to be rolling out of spawn here, and I do believe Acells just kicked that Lancer mag off into oblivion. I mean, my goodness gracious, he gave that thing the field goal duties. Acells has a smoke in hand. They're trying to match up what they have to deal with, and it looks like Team Queso has sent a player to eat. They know they got a 4v3 on this side of the map. They need to take their numbers advantage very quickly to try to get that long shot in their control. Shock grenade kind of going out a little bit long over problems. Problems now with a little bit of an angle to try to push back in to that position, into that fight. Problems with a reaction gets one. Problems has to back up after the down comes through. Cristalize is yet to be cleaned up, but they're actually pincering out everybody else. Chavii went on a long rotational flank. Will somebody make it a D? They do make it a D, and just in time. They get there like they were in the middle of a Michael Bay movie and had to clip the wire on the bomb at the last second. They jumped into that D hill, one hand in.
Army hero on a grenade. They get there just into the nick of time. And I love that play. I just needed them to stay alive onto that tank. Go ahead and draw more attention for a few seconds. Not even a few seconds, a fraction of a second there. But the Pioneers will get that second hill under their control. Hndles just in a narrow sniper shot there. Chavii's trying to push up. Misses yet another one onto Cristalize. That's going to give up that shot lead, forcing Hndles onto the defense. Bronny goes down, but Hndles shines bright. That's going to be a big shot. Revive there. Chavii got his hands full. He's going to get shut down. That hill will remain under KCP control as they continue to try to thread the needle on the other side of the map. They got another 2v2 fight that looks like they're in the lead on, but problems. He strikes with a big up A to go ahead and take out not one, but both of those players, but it's not going to be long. Acells spawns up. This battle is not over just yet. In fact, they don't even get to capture. Team Queso backtracking step by step. They're trying to keep their numbers alive, even if that comes at the cost of a hill.
I don't want to lie to you. If Bronny had pulled that off, that might have been the coolest movement play I've seen in a while. Like, I know we see a lot of wall bounces. We see those backslides. The strafe cancel into a backslide would have been chef's kiss for me after that first big back A that he hit on him. Hndles now with the long shot. He's just going to hit the body shot. You know they're going to clean that kill up. There's a big team fight happening at the D hill for possible triple cap domination here in this round to try to give the Pioneers the 2-1 map count lead with a 5-1 victory on map number 3, but they are over 200 points. They need to ensure that they don't lose their home hill. Hndles will be left here in a situation where he's going to be defending this E hill by himself, possibly, whereas there's going to be a big team fight at the D. He has to stop a D cap from coming through, and now what we're going to see is the body shot on the Chavii. He's going to go for the passable drop shot. Does get the wrap, and now he's got to worry about a 1v1. Big, oh my God, don't do it to him, Hndles. Don't you dare. Yo, Hndles. Oh my God, I thought he was about to handle it. I thought my man had it in both hands.
He did handle it for the win at the end of the day because look how much time wasted. He got one elimination. Now that's going to force the pressure, and he's going to spawn up to try to disrupt that flank that's coming through from Cristalize. The pressure is on the teammate towards the front side. That's Sleeafer who goes down. Chavii ends up in the same demise. All 4 players down and out as the Pioneers will reign supreme 5-1 to take a 2-1 lead in the series.
I just love the way that Hndles' awareness in those last few seconds was. Like, even though he doesn't come away with a win, and granted, I wanted that double kill. I wanted that for him. He didn't need it. He just had to keep him out of the hill. Like you said, he secures the win for his squad. That's just such an emphatic exclamation point on that map 3 for the Pioneers to take a 2-1 map lead over Team Queso. Now, Team Queso is very gamey in that map 1. They go into that first map and are pretty much picture perfect for what they need. We're going back to control now. So we were on district. We go back to control, but it is a pretty different map that we're about to be rolling out of spawn on. It's a bit wider. There's a lot more angles, and the Pioneers might feel a little more comfortable on this map. What do you think, Jacob?
I think it's up to Chavii here. What kind of game that Team Queso is going to have. You saw his performance on map number 1. He came out the gate swinging, even though he wasn't necessarily positive in terms of kills for actual deaths. If you look at his overall KDA, that was positive. He was able to disrupt a lot of the defense on rotations. He was catching out some big eliminations and keeping power weapons into the hands of Team Queso. Map number 2 came out flat as can be. In fact, he was dusted off of the top of the bookshelf and thrown straight into the trash. He was either downed or first blooded in way of a Pioneer's domination. Here again, he has a shell of a game. If Team Queso is going to have any hope in this series at all, Chavii has to be getting eliminations some way, somehow.
Well, we're going to see if Chavii can get some eliminations. Like, Acells interrupted me twice with that same headshot, by the way. Like, mid-game and now in the replay. That's just rude, my man. Like, I love you, but you got to stop interrupting me with it. Yeah, yo, Cristalize! God, I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired of this game.
There's only so much those two players can do. There's only so much at the end of the day that Sleeafer and Cristalize can do. Even Problems, I think, is doing a good job here in the role. But if you look at a lot of the meta, a lot of the elite teams that are in first place, every player on that roster can slay at every single moment. Right now, it's the moments that they're not slaying on the side of Team Queso that are the glaring difference. Even in that Vasgar, there were some rounds that were winnable if those eliminations were there. You can't put all the pressure on the veterans to go ahead and save the day every single moment of the matchup. So for Chavii, you got this spot in the Pro League. You got your spot playing with some of the best players in Latin America. Now you need to prove why you got that spot.
My man's putting you on blast, asking you to start to prove stuff to him now. And as we go into this map 4, it is a proving ground for them. It's not a training ground. It's a proving ground. I'm curious if they're going to be able to come away with it. I love what we've seen from the Pioneers these last 2 maps. They've been very much better at the team fire, at taking fights the way that they want to, much rather than they're being forced to. I would love to see how they take this initial, because last time we were here, when they had, they're going to have the same kind of mentality with Precision and Bronny putting them up in the fight early at the Rose Garden, but are they going to change up putting Xysho more toward that Rose Garden fight off rip? Try to get him into the team fight for the team fire, the rotation, whatever it might need to be. Or if they're going to put Xysho up there in the 1v1 for the M-bar, because we know that Acells is very good with the M-bar, but they normally kind of trade those marksman weapons, those precision weapons out over to the side of Xysho. So that's going to be one of the things I like to keep my eye on. I know that teams will every now and again change up their spawn spots just to try a strat here or there, because after that first set of kills, it doesn't really matter what spot you spawned in. It only matters for the initial, and control can be a heck of a long game mode. You can get, double digits easy, 15, 20 minutes almost in some controls. So I'll be curious to see if they throw some kind of different game plan out.
Yeah, no, I think they have all the tools of success to throw a lot of the game plans out them, even though you're kind of questioning what the Pioneers will do on their side. I'm trying to figure out who is going to take any 1v1, whether it's Xysho, Bronny, Acells, or Hndles for that M-bar, because if that last map told us anything, I think that's where some issues lie. Sleeafer, no matter if it was Hndles or Acells, losing a lot of those 1v1s. When Chavii had a chance in those 1v1s, he was losing those 1v1s. So you got to think no matter who is in that position, Pioneers got to have the confidence. So I agree with you either way. Regardless of who goes up to that 1v1 fight, you have to make it a short-lived kind of negative aspect if you do lose it, because you need to figure out a way to stop and contest that Rose Garden regardless, while still trying maintaining that right side of the map positioning. Get those short spawns and prepare for the next hill just in case things go wrong.
And what we saw on that last map was a very good effort by Fire and Ice in the later parts of that map number 3. But what I say that to say is Fire and Ice, all of their good efforts were through the cog side of the spawn. This time, the boys from the Pioneers will have that immediate good spawn for the initial and also have control already over that right-hand side. So they might have a little bit of an advantage coming into that first fight. They might know that Team Queso wants to push through them and try to get onto that side of the map to try to take control over that secondary position.
Just wonder if Team Queso might do too much. If they win that first battle, they need to kind of feel it out and figure out what kind of happened elsewhere on the map, how long it take to win that battle, because they can win that battle, try to extend upward to win that M-bar and put themselves in a trap, because, more times than not, the team that loses that initial fight is either going to get an upward spawn or they're going to get an actual deep spawn point where they can easily traverse towards that end bar. But regardless, we see it's Hndles versus Chavii, 1v1 towards the inside, 3v3 on the outside, where Bronny's going to be the first one into that position. Flashed out first, bouncing around, no first blood, even though players are close enough to get that chunk. So it's going to come down to that down. Yes, it's Xysho. He's going to net the first down. Team kill from Problems, but at least he's able to make up for it with one elimination before he falls.
Now Chavii trying to get shots in the middle of the map onto Hndles. Hndles has him full red, but there's a team down, a traded out down, but Bronny is right there for the quick little revive. They're going to pick up the fragmentation grenades and roll out of there. Cristalize with the M-bar will hit one big body shot there, but now he's going to turn and actually hit a big enough shot there on his Xysho to finish him off. That's a chunk out. We'll see the rotation from Team Queso down to the bottom side of the map, back toward that Rose Garden position. An attempt to try to take it back over, giving up about 30 points on this map. They need to get inside for a neutralization to try to stop them from continuing to amass points on this map. But, I mean, with the double extra shots on and Cristalize not being able to find an angle, finally finds the shot there on a Bronny as he tries to move in. Problems, gets one there onto Acells as well. It looks like the Pioneers are going to try to rotate over to the top side of the map, but they're going to get met by one player. It's going to be Sleeafer, who's here between two players of the Pioneers. I'll be curious to see if they push up onto him quicker rather than later. Xysho's going to get called out in the backside of the spawn. He's going to go down. The rest of the Pioneers are going to have to rotate through the inside into an attempt at position number 2.
They need to continue to move together. Bronny with a nice shot over the top, only able to get the down. But that same elimination where Sleeafer was kind of that tip of the spear towards the Rose Garden on that re-push attempt, he got eliminated early. Off that respawn, he made the perfect rotation. Knowing the rotation was going to happen for this next hill, he was that defining force. He was the one that distracted Pioneers from getting deep into the spawn, cement themselves. So now it's them who are forced to retake. You see Acells and Xysho geared up towards that low spawn. You see Hndles and Bronny towards the top side of the map, which they could be easily trying to wait for an M-bar, but depending on how long it takes, they're giving up some good time.
Here we go into the next position. Team Queso will be stood up inside of the hill. Cristalize with one shot left, trying to make it count. He's going to go down. Shock to the backside of the hill, but Sleeafer on a big flank gets the first kill. Now the second. 2 players of the Pioneers left alive versus 3 players of Queso. Hndles to one side. Bronny pushed out toward the other and gets taken down. Hndles is trying to check Sleeafer here, but wasn't able to do much in that instance. Pioneers get the close respawn. With 30 seconds left on this, they should push right back in. Chavii, though, might have a free pickup on a brand new M-bar, and he does indeed. He'll be able to rotate that into the next position, as he's just going to continue to try to watch that big door, I believe, and multiple players from the Pioneers will go down through the middle of the map, rotating to what might seem to be the next hill.
You see Bronny lasting against Cristalize on this side of the map. He has no more M-bar, so it's not going to be a big loss. But that's not going to matter regardless, because he's going to win that one onto Bronny. Pay attention where Bronny spawns next on the map. Could be, if they don't block that top spawn, he will get it, but it does look they're going to get it in time, forcing Bronny outward. Another player got out of position is Hndles. That's going to go ahead and position Team Queso up, not only for the hill, but for that spawn point towards the top. That's going to allow them to set up and gather the information. So no push should be a secret here for Team Queso.
Here we go into the next position as Pioneers are going to struggle against the close respawn of Team Queso. Problems has had a ton of Lancer damage put out. Now he's just hitting L triggers over that 45-degree angle. Picture perfect for him. There's a big shot by Chavii to get that kill. Bronny last alive for his squad. Xysho rolls in to pick up one meat shield, but will only get the singular kill. Queso is definitively in the driver's seat. The Pioneers are struggling at this point. Bronny and Hndles each with only 1 kill to their name.
You see Chavii playing well, Problems stepping it up, the Young Guns firing on. Just kind of keep note of them, how they progress throughout this matchup. If they're in a position to close out a game, but that's information, that's vital information being given over to Chavii. That full-on push through the outside. He's trying to put some shots towards the flank, but the team needs to be able to survive this onslaught if that one's going to come through. Chavii finally joining the fray. He's going to get there, continuing those pistol shots onto Acells, who's not feeling comfortable. He gets the down. He gets another down back-to-back with his team. Chavii makes the perfect play from information to asserting himself with the shotgun. That was exactly what I needed to see in this map number 4.
Now coming all the way across the respawn of that M-bar. They have to push across the top side of the map, as that next position here is the back side of that T-table. Acells will rotate out to the right side. 2 players in front of him, 1 behind. 1v1 out here into the spawn. 2v1 turned into. Cleaned up by the Pioneers. Quick little pick on the frag grenades, but earlier we saw Xysho get shot out by the M-Bar when he picked frags. This time, Acells misses the shot over the top, and now everybody kind of struggling in this position to come away with a kill in this situation. A frag grenade, I believe, will go out onto the ground. They will have a free fragmentation to pick up in the hands of somebody. I believe it was Bronny. Indeed, it was him. So he's going to be defending the left side of the ring with at least one fragmentation grenade and a Lancer Nasher. 60 seconds left on the hill. They need a decent amount of these points to try to even cut the lead to as little as it can be. Will Acells pick up either of these hits with the M-Bar? Not needed for the... Well, actually, he did. He hit that shot on Cristalize as he rolled across that cover.
This is much needed on the side of KCP, because before this hill, it was about a 5 to 110 run for Team Queso. Since then, I think 1 point has been scored for Team Queso onto this hill as they continue to battle towards the top half. Flash grenades going to be used by Cristalize. A little bit of a waste since nobody's able to utilize it. Cristalize gets shot up by both Xysho and Hndles at the same exact time to end one. They're going to bleed problems out as the Pioneers, they're actually going to begin to go on a roll here. They're going to disperse off this next hill. And if you look at where they're at, they're just solidifying the spawn point first and then working their way deep. They're going to get in deep towards the spawn because they already know Team Queso beat him to the punch when it comes to the actual hill, as that Xysho bleeding this one dry. So he could make the perfect rotation to get a flank, but it looks like he just wants to bolster this offensive push that they know has to come from the northern portion of the map.
Problems will be coming up here to the stairwell. He's going to have a pretty good angle here. It's a 90-degree to those baby steps on the far side and 45 to the close. He's going to throw out that shock to block them from up-aying into the hill. It will buy them about 10 seconds before the retake comes through. I'm actually curious. I don't believe anybody from the nobody from the Pioneers threw the utility they have. Bronny still has that frag grenade. He's going to throw it to the backside, try to force them to fly out, but it's a double kill. It turns into a double. Problems has to fly. He's going to go down. Now he's going to die. One player left alive. That would have been Cristalize inside the middle of that main doorway. And look at this. Acells gets a free repick on the M-Bar.
I was just saying you have to go as soon as you see that M-Bar getting picked up, but Acells just gets ammo. That's information that Team Queso don't get, so that's going to allow for the Pioneers to get in that full setup. First frag grenade going out. Acells spots that one from a mile away. Picks a perfect spot. He's going to land one shot with the M-Bar, but smoke grenade's going to cloud the rest of his shots as the Pioneers will crumble off a great retake push from Team Queso. Even though those frag grenades didn't net any eliminations, it dispersed the players out of their position to make that push that much easier.
Did you give it up right here? You just give up the last 20 seconds to rotate? That's exactly what it looks like they did, yeah.
But Team Queso as well. Everybody has to go.
They've moved out at this point. And now we'll see multiple players start to push into the next hill from Queso. Queso trying to get inside. One missed M-Bar shot. Second one comes through and true for Acells as well as the third. He's going to go down. Xysho trying to save him. Lancer out, gets a decent amount of damage, but he's full red. Chavii now stuck between two players from the Pioneers. They got to get it down. They will get it. And once they get that one, they will mount back up into the hill. They have the close respawn. One more player to worry about his problems. He's stuck here. Lancered out. Now the retake from the inside. Two players from Queso pushing in. Xysho's down. They're going to try to get a 2v2 win here. Maybe some help from the big window, which they get in time to get the downs, the kills, and the hills.
Hndles even figuring out a way, like through that big window, that big door on the side. Go ahead and get that down to go ahead and alleviate a little bit of the pressure his teammates were going through, as the Pioneers in a few seconds will be able to retake the lead. But how big of a lead here depends on if this push is going to be successful. Hndles with Bronny. They get that first down on to Problems. That's going to go ahead and stall them just a little bit. Xysho continues to go on to that flank. Everybody backtracking in their steps. They don't want to give up any eliminations. That's why you see so many downs on the side of the Pioneers. But Hndles gets got crossing. He goes down. That's going to open up the rest of the eliminations for Team Queso. It's going to be a pause in hill time for both of these teams until this fight is done. And Chavii says it is done as him and Cristalize get some eliminations. But Acells, he got a quick spawn, which is going to go in favor of Team Queso for every one of those spawns outward. So the last of that fight will go in favor of Team Queso, but they're not going to get any points. All that fight goes nowhere because they're forced to rotate quickly.
Yeah, they're going to have to go down toward the bottom side of the map, try to get into a position to take over the Rose Garden. Not going to be able to get anything at this position. Now we'll see them push in as Hndles has 4 more shots in the M-Bar, trying to keep Chavii's head down as they throw flashes at him to try to get to the back of the Rose Garden. There's the kill. Frag grenade one comes out, gets a kill onto Bronny. Acells walks up onto Problems, gets that shot off. Cristalize will have to position himself on the backside of this Chavii, trying to stay alive, but Acells gonna take good angle on him, 90 degrees to get the down. They will clean them up. See what they can do here is Bronny's gonna call out Sleeafer on the flank. Sleeafer was trying to go on a big flank. Bronny calls him out, gets a lot of damage, but nobody's turning to help. He gets the down anyway. He gets that cleanup kill that he's gonna have. It's going to maintain this side of the map and the hill. 50 seconds left on this, could take the point lead, and they have the correct side for P2. Jacob, is this the comeback by the Pioneers?
This is definitely the comeback to Pioneers. They're going ahead and mixing up that recipe for success here. Depending on what goes down for Team Queso, this is more than the time onto this hill. This is position for the next. Cristalize falls. Chavii's going to go out without getting a trade. Problems and Sleeafer are so separated, they can't help each other, as both of them will go down all the same. You see Bronny is already positioned at the top, but he's positioned by himself. They need to go. They need to go now on the side of Team Queso to try to get Bronny out of position, but there's only so much they can get because they cannot continue to put themselves at a disadvantage, so they're going to have to be happy with what they got here.
Hndles is still here. One shot left, trying to make it count, and he does. Shuts him down with a headshot. Now it's a 4v3. Bronny moves in, gets a second kill. Chavii answers back finally on the Hndles, but I mean, that is an overwhelming retake on the back of a picture-perfect headshot by Hndles up into the 200-point threshold. We will go for the Pioneers, and they have really flipped the script on the stat lines. Earlier, we saw so many players struggling, but now we see so many players from the Pioneers start to really mount up the offense that we saw in maps 2 and 3. Acells just keeping it going. And then look at that, they gotta turn attention to the M-bar toward him. How many seconds are you gonna waste here? Look at it, one guy at the fragmentation grenades.
Before this one, and it's well above that now. It's about a 90-0 run for the Pioneers, and they're going to continue to go on that run, especially if they can go ahead and stop. There goes Cristalize going down. They're forced into the revive chain. They have no answers, and they're going to get shut down yet again. 219. They scored 60 points on hill number 7 to get them that score, and they're continuing on a 100-point run here right now over Team Queso as they cannot be stopped. A team down's even coming through. Chavii meets his demise. They're just going desperate push after desperate push as the Pioneers reign supreme yet again.
Another defensive stand by the Pioneers in this situation. They will be rotating toward that next hill. It is the bottom left-hand side of your mini-map. 4 players rotating through the Rose Garden for the Team Queso. There's the shock out. It's going to block out multiple players from coming straight in for that revive. The flash, though, was there picture perfect, but Bronny even better, looking like a masterpiece. Acells on the flank. Lancer now snub. Damage galore. My man is putting in work like he was the judge, jury, and executioner, because the Pioneers have rallied the wagons in this map number 4 to not only take a lead, but take a commanding lead and be oh so close to shutting it down. Just 15 seconds to go. One last chance for Queso. They have to throw the flash, possibly dash, get in, hope to fly, and hope not to die.
I see one.
They just got put in the blender right now. Anybody want a Team Queso smoothie as they're just going down? They're getting taken out. Cristalize gets Bronny down, but Xysho keeping his distance to making sure he solidifies 2 more. And that is going to be it. The Pioneers come back and take map number 4 to close out the series 3-1, Colin. And I dare ask you, are the Pioneers back?
They might not be back in the room, but they certainly knocking on the door like, y'all know we own this joint, right? You know this is our house. They knocking on the door like we didn't give them a key to the front door, so they gonna come busting in the side door. They are a team on a mission. In the last 3 maps, they were fantastic with their team fire, with the way they were so very precise in the execution of Team Queso through 3 maps. I mean, I was getting worried that Control has just kind of passed them by. But they went on a 120-point run?
I mean, it's more than that now. I didn't get what was the score.
I'm bad at math. I'm bad at
math. The Pioneers end with 183. That's all. I do believe they ended with 183. So, Colin, give me a second. Let me break down the math.
All right. bum bum bum
my
bada
God, Colin.
bum
It
bum
was
bum.
massive. I'll give them some points. Do you want to shut them out completely? Because we can start from hill number 6 where they got 30 points. We can be nice, or do you want to be mean when they got put in the blender, when the volcano erupted and their village came crumbling down? Because it was hill number 7, Colin, 60-0. Hill number 8, 59-0. And to end the game, that last 22 points, 22-0. It wasn't until hill number 6 where they got 30 points, only 30 points. So we could give them 30 or we could take it all away, because at the end of the day, the Pioneers woke up from their slumber and came to play.
And it was an incredible situation. That headshot from Hndles to set off that retake at the next to last point. I mean, just oh so gorgeous. But these boys just played out of their minds for these last 3 maps. Every time they needed some team fire to start to rev up, when it was like they started to figure it out again. My man said he slipped on a banana peel. Hold up. Wait a minute. Hndles came up in the chat and said he slipped on a banana peel.
Yeah, I believe it. Look at the way he's just falling right before I break out. Look at it. Watch right here. This is probably what he's talking about right now. They go boom, boom, banana peel. I'm out. That's probably exactly what he was talking about in that matchup. And it looks funny exactly when you do it, but look at the score line, 300-197. Team Queso had some believers in that moment, but that's why we talk about the meme. You had us in the first half, I ain't gonna lie, because the Pioneers woke up and they completely smothered their opponents.